What up, troops? Welcome back to the Litanah Army. I'm Litz, and this is Fortnite Save the World. And what I want to check out today is assault rifles in the collection book. So if we go down to here, so you go to armory at the top, go to collection book, and if we go down to here to assault rifles, what you've actually got in here is a ton of weapons that you can get right now. Now, the easy way to do this, a lot of you seasoned players will know this already. But say if you wanted a Siegebreaker, you would click on said Siegebreaker, click on the actual button there that'll be grayed out if you don't have one, and just put research schematic there. And then what you need there, look, if you look at weapon designs, you need 60 of those, and then you need 100 legendary flux as well. Hit research, and then you're going to have a base version of that gun in your collection book. Now, if you've already slotted an item, what you can actually do is just unslot the item. So if you've done it by accident, just pay to unslot, and then you get your Siegebreaker back there as well. So I want to look at which are the best ones to get from in here. Now, obviously, the first one that you're going to know is the one we've just looked at, which is the Siegebreaker. So if we go to that and inspect item, this is a great gun. It's well-rounded. It's got no real massive strengths, you know, and it's got no weaknesses either. As a bog standard gun, this is probably a good go-to one. So if you're someone who's not got a great collection, or you're thinking, you know, I've not got a load of great guns just now, then the Siegebreaker is a great start to have. And one of those weapons that, you know, you'll be using time and time again. It's a good go-to weapon. It's dead easy to craft as well, so the mats aren't particularly difficult compared to a lot of weapons out there. So the Siegebreaker is definitely a go-to weapon, and it looks great as well. I actually prefer this sandy coloured one than I do to the black one. I think it looks really good. Kind of reminds me of like the 90s, like the Desert Storm kind of feel that they had with the US Army back then, but it looks absolutely great on there. Now, this one that it's got here, it's got double reload speed on there, which you don't really need double on there. Headshot damage, durability, mag size, you'd probably have to change the perks on there. However, it's still a great weapon. If you look at the right up at the bottom, assault weapon, fully automatic, flexible assault rifle, capable of handling all types of combat scenarios. So it's kind of reiterating what we just said there about how well-rounded it is. High rate of fire with a solid accuracy when aiming down the sights and firing in controlled bursts. So that's definitely one that's worth picking up. Now, another good one that you could get, probably my second favourite one in there, would be this one. So the Deathstock, and I absolutely love this weapon as well. These are the perks that are on this one. This is the one that's from the collection book. And if you look on there, that one looks really good as well. So if we just view that and just zoom in, it's got that kind of nocturnal feel as well with the little skull on the bottom, but it just looks really good. And if you look there, it's actually under, I think it's a surgical rifles, which is cool, and it's the upgrade from the Night Lance. If you've already got a Night Lance, you can actually upgrade this one. But if you have a look on this, it's absolutely fantastic. It's got a decent base crit chance. The crit damage on it's good as a starter. So, you know, if you had a crit build on there, it actually becomes a really good gun. Now, the version that we've got of that, if I just go into my schematics over here, look, I've got one here already. This one's done up. So if you look on there, I've got a 43% crit chance on there and a 237% crit damage on there, making it absolutely nuts as a weapon, and one that we'll do some gameplay on in a second, actually. I'll put the gameplay at the end of this video so you can see this one in action. So let's quickly look at the others that are in there then. So we've also got this one, a real popular favourite that's in there is the RAZORBLADE. We did a review on the RAZORBLADE a while ago. I'll link that in the description down below, or I'll put it in the annotation up at the top of the screen. There's like a little circle with a letter I in it. I don't know if people see that all the time, but I'll put the RAZORBLADE you know, review in there as well. But this is a great weapon. Assault weapon, burst, which is probably not what I'm not a big fan of burst weapons, but this one's kind of different. An assault rifle that fires tight bursts that allow for precise targeting in mobile mid-range engagements. Deals good damage, but consumes its magazine very quickly. It does get through ammo, and I don't really mind guns that get through ammo quickly. Ammo is so cheap to craft that you can kind of go into each game with 3,000 ammo. It doesn't really matter, especially when you know, if you're desperate for nuts and bolts and things like that, fair enough, you know, then you might not want to go, you know, something that's this ammo heavy. But ultimately, the RAZORBLADE is a great gun, and it can just really pack a punch. If you look there with nothing on it, it's got 122% crit damage on there, which is pretty decent as well. It's dead easy to craft. Even when you get to the higher levels, it gets easier to craft. Like I always say to you guys though, don't craft over your level. So if you've got, you know, if you're in Canny Valley, don't craft over copper. If you're in Plankton, you know, don't go over silver. Canny Valley, don't go over malachite, and then so forth. By the time you get to Canny Valley, you'll know this anyway, but that's kind of the thing to do. So if you're in, I'll just repeat that again, just one more time. So if you're in Stonewood, don't go over the copper version of weapons. If you're in Plankton, don't go over the silver version of weapons. And then if you're in Canny Valley, don't go over the malachite version of weapons. I'm going to do evolution of weapons on another video later on, just to clear that up a little bit for people, because I know some people are having difficulty with that. But the RAZORBLADE, an absolute beast of a gun, so definitely one worth getting. Another one This one, let's just go to this one. The Ranger I would avoid. It gets put out all the time. It's always in the event store and stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan. It's not a great weapon, this one. I just don't find it any good. I just wonder if I've got one in the actual schematics to show you guys. I've definitely not got one leveled up. Oh, here it is, look. Here's the Ranger. So I've not done mine up either. I had one that was all leveled up. I didn't really like it. It wasn't really for me. I got this second one from the event store like later on, just for the collection, just for the sake, just to say that I'd got one in case the meta changed or anything like that. But if you look on here, assault weapon, burst semi-automatic, fires a highly accurate 2-bullet burst, capable of dealing good damage at long range. Can throw lead downrange very quickly, but rewards careful aim with increased headshot damage. Might be good for an urban assault, for example. The crit rating's good on it. Do you know, if you put maybe a headshot build on there, then that's it. Maybe because it doesn't meet my playstyle. If you're someone who goes for a lot of headshots, then the Ranger might be something that works for you. For me, it's just not a go-to gun. Still looks great, you know, compared to the others. I kind of like the look of it. It's kind of got that chrome kind of feel to it, but it just isn't really for me, that one. Okay, so another one that's really popular is this one, I find, the Terminator. I didn't realize how popular this one was. Loads of people use this. This is more like an LMG. This is like a, you know, if you look on an assault weapon, light machine gun, a heavy weapon with high damage and extreme rate of fire, huge magazine size, very inaccurate unless aiming down the sights from a fixed position, and firing in short bursts. Now, it's not really one that I really enjoy using. Again, I go more for the Founder's Drum Roll. You know, that's one that I really enjoy. I'll link that one as well in the description down below. The Founder's Drum Roll, I find, is a better replacement for this one. But if you're someone who's not got any of the upgrade packages, you want a good solid LMG, and you've got none of the event weapons, then this is a decent starter if you're into LMGs. I still think you'd be better off with the Siegebreaker or with the Deathstock, you know, whichever one you like. But this one, again, you know, it's one of those, if you need to, then get it. It wouldn't be the first choice, you know, we'll go to choice order in a second, but it's one of those, it's still a decent weapon that's on there. Now, this one's the Hammercrucian. Now, the Hammercrucian is decent. The Hammercrucian is good. It's a strong... I thought this was a shotgun when I first saw it, because it's got the shotgun shells attached to it down here, look. So if you go to inspect, so if we go view, and we go down here, look, it's got the little slugs attached to the hammer. So I thought that that's what it was. And if you look, it's actually referring, I think, to the mechanism at the back, which is shaped like a little hammer. So just basically, you put your shotgun shells in there, and this hammer like bangs onto the back there and then shoots the gun out, I'm guessing. That's how it works. I'm British, we don't know guns. You know, but if you look at all this, you know, it looks pretty decent. So slug gun. A rifle that fires slugs with a high damage rate and impact, good accuracy, but relatively slow rate of fire and high bullet per cost. Now, I don't really use this kind of gun. I've never really used the Hammercrucian very much. So if you guys think differently and you find the Hammercrucian is a great weapon, let me know in the comments down below. It's not one I've used very much. It's not one that really appeals to me. However, it still looks pretty cool. You know, the stats on it are okay. Good crit damage, good hit, good crit chance, but it's not really one that's really appealing to me on there. Now, the Hunter Killer's quite a popular one. Lots of people have got this one. It's not one, again, it's another one that's semi-automatic. I used to use the Founder's Raptor a lot when I first started playing. So when I was in early Plankton, this kind of gun, which the Founder's Raptor is very similar to, I used to use all the time. So it's one of those, if you're trying to get through Plankton and it's the only gun you've got, or you've not got many other guns, then this is a good go-to gun. If you're using this one as your main weapon, you will quite comfortably get through all the missions that are in there, and you'll be absolutely fine. Again, it's not a go-to weapon for me. You know, still, I would go Siegebreaker if you've got the option, but this one, you know, it's decent. It's okay. Okay, this one, the Death Ray. This is an Aiden Harris favorite. If you look on there now, if you look at the bottom, it says high tech, a fully automatic laser gun with a quick rate of fire and decent accuracy. Deals energy damage, which is fairly effective against all types of elemental enemies. Now, this is a great weapon to have. Again, if you're in, Plankton, or you're in low-end Canny Valley, this is a great weapon to have. Again, I've tried it out. It's fun. You know, it's one of those. I love zappy weapons. It gets a bit expensive as you get to the higher levels, just because of the type of weapon that it is. So when it comes to actually crafting it, it starts to get expensive. However, it's still quite a decent gun. It's one, again, if it's the only one that you've got, it's one that I would go to. Now, the main ones I would go for, personally, first of all, I would go for the Deathstalker. That's my favourite one of the ones you can get from the collection book. That doesn't mean it's the best, just means it's my favourite. It's the one that I would go to, one that I enjoy using the most. The next one that I would go to on there would probably be the Siegebreaker. So that'd be the next one that I'd want to go on there, just for a really well-rounded gun. If you've got no others, and you haven't got any of the legendary assault rifles that you're using, I'd probably go Siegebreaker first, because it could be then your bread and buttered gun and the main one that you use, just the first one that you build when you're running out of weapons. So the Siegebreaker you can't really go wrong with. But personally, I would go the Deathstalker first, then I would go Siegebreaker, and then I would go for this one over here, the Razorblade. The others are all okay, but they don't really stack up against those three. So they're the main ones that I would go for. Now, if you've got, you know, a different setup that you would go for, then let me know in the comments down below. I would love to know. Let me know in the bottom of your order of your top 3 guns out of the collection book. So under assault rifles, do you know, which 3 legendary guns would you actually go for in that setup? So if you've got this as your choice, which 3 would actually be the ones that you would want? But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to jump into a quick mission. I'm just going to go into a private match just to show you what it's like against mobs. And we're going to go in the private match with the Deathstalker and see just how awesome it is. So stay tuned and let's go and check that out. Okay, so we're using first shot Rio, but I've took the support and the tactical off there. So we've got no extra buffs. Obviously, she's got her own things, but whatever hero I use, that's going to be the case. So let's just try on these 2. That's the scope on the Deathstalker. So let's go for this first. Okay, that's not going to be good. Let's jump down. Oh. All right, we didn't make it. Let's get around. God damn it. Accuracy. So this is on a smasher then. You're going to have to dance a little bit with it. But if you look there, each time I reload as well, I'm going to get an increased rate of fire. Let's pop War Cry. But it's such a great weapon. You look, there you go. And even from there, look, with the smasher, that's it, done. It's quick as that. And you know some of the reviews that we've done where we've struggled? That aimed all right. There we go, another one. A lot of these, it'll just, you know, it'll shoot them down with one burst. Okay, who's shooting at us there? We got Cowboys. There you go. I'm trying to get them as to draw the gun. I'm trying to beat them to the draw. There we go. I think that's all of them done. Alright, I don't really want to aggro an encampment if I can help it. So he's still decent at range as well. But anything closer than mid-range, you're going to be just doing them in one burst. Look, so if you look at these guys. Do you know what would be great on this? The bullet chain that we saw on the Founders Revolt. That'd make this so good. And if you look, it's just that's it, just peppers them down. If you're doing a base defense and you're like, say, high up on the walls or something like that, then it's pretty awesome as well. So if you're doing like, I don't know, some sort of like base defense and you're high up, you know, on like a little platform and you're just firing down off your base, then this weapon is absolutely great. Okay, I'll show you the Siegebreaker as well quickly. This one is seriously OP. This is one that I got donated because we're going to be doing a review on this one soon. But if you have a look, this is the Siegebreaker. You can just hold down the fire button if you want, and it's just kind of mows them all down. Now, again, this one's a little bit OP, this particular one. But again, the Siegebreaker is such a good weapon. Alright, I think we've got more trying to get in there. Maybe we do, maybe we don't.
This target's a tricky one.
Okay, then, so the Siegebreaker then on a blaster. So that's quite good, and then the Deathstalker on a blaster. Bearing in mind, this is quite a lot of levels below the Deathstalker, just as effective. So good. Okay, and I'll just quickly show you the rolls on that Siegebreaker, because it's just nuts. So look, that's the Siegebreaker rolls that we've got on there. They're the Deathstalker rolls that we've got on there as well. So the Deathstalker's quite a lot lower, but it's still doing an insane amount of damage. And it's just, you know, it's just a really good gun to use. If you want, I would, you know, this setup's really good. If you get the Siegebreaker as your main weapon, then you get the Deathstalker as your second weapon, and then get a Stoneblade in support, you're not going to go far wrong. That will carry you pretty much right through up to Twine. You don't really need many other weapons than that. I mean, obviously, using all the cool weapons is so much fun.
We'll need to build up to place the Atlas laser.
The only problem is at short range, if you're firing from the hip, you know, it can be a little bit tricky, but it's still good. I mean, if you just look, it just does crazy damage, look. More than holds its own. And that was all, you know, without the scope. Okay, so last off then, one more run with the Deathstalker then. So we're going to surgically pick out the high threat targets, so ones that throw stuff. And then that is it. And then we can just fire from the hip lock. Like so. I mean, with Rio, it reloads super fast anyway. If you've not got first shot Rio, then you can just put Carbide in the support slot, and then you're going to have just enough. It's a support or tactical, but just use Carbide with his reload speed perk, and you'll be absolutely fine. Okay, from here then. So he could charge me at any time, and probably I'm going to take the charge. Oh, where's he gone? Don't move. Alright, I don't think he's worked out how to go around the wall yet. Which means he's probably going to come through it. There he is. Alright, we can get out of the way of his charge and hip fire him down. Simple. Simple. So such a good weapon. It feels so great to use as well. Okay, let's jump back to the menu screen then. Okay then guys, so that's the weapons you can use right now. So the Siegebreaker and the Deathstock are probably the first, the main go-to ones that I would go for. You've also got the RAZORBLADE as well, which is a great weapon. We've done a review on that. That was someone that's linked in the video. And then, this one's not bad. You've got the Terminator. There's just going to be better options, I think. Probably in the event store. There's always good LMGs that come up in the event store. So I think that one's worth holding out on. And then the Death Ray as well. Aiden Harris wouldn't like it if I didn't include it. Then the Death Ray is pretty decent as well. And definitely a good choice. Personally, I'd go for the other two first. My choice order, if you like, would be the Deathstalker, then the Siegebreaker, and then the RAZORBLADE as well after that. But please let me know in the comments down below, as we said earlier, what your order would be. I hope this has been helpful. If it has, don't forget to comment and let me know down below, and drop a like on the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching this one, guys.